Today's video is about cooking with lithium batteries. What? What did he say? Yeah, cooking with lithium batteries. Now, typically when you're out where there's no, grid and you're camping or whatever, overlanding or whatever, the best way to cook things is using fossil fuels. I don't care what the hell Joe Biden says, it's still the best way, either using a fire or some kind of a stove, butane, propane, whatever it is. It packs the most punch for BTUs, British thermal units. Whereas typically home appliances that plug into the wall can do the same thing. Unfortunately, they draw way more power. And what winds up happening is either the lithium battery, in this case a Jackery, or even any other brand, can't handle it, or can handle it but you'll lose like 40 or 50% of your battery capacity after using it. Needless to say, I have tested the Jackery 1000 with induction cooktops, microwave ovens, small boiling devices, to boil water, coffee makers, and they all worked. No problem. It did take a chunk out of my battery, but it worked. It's not the best way to cook. Recently got air fryer. Now I've owned a couple of these before, and they go all the way up to 450 degrees or whatever. It's a toaster oven, air fryer, or whatever. Sucks as an air fryer, okay? I didn't know what an air fryer did until I actually got one. This actually does crisp things, unlike like the ovens that don't really do it. But all these devices use a ton of power, at least 1,000 watts. Some of them all the way up to 1,800 watts. And in this case, you'll see from my previous video, I'm actually running it off of one of the ovens is running off a dedicated line for an oven, and the other one's running off a regular plug. Because if you plug them both in, you're drawing 3,600 watts, and the plug cannot handle that. No plug can handle that. 15 amps is the max. So this is the first time testing this. We're going to test the Jackery 1000, which has 1,000 watt sine wave with an air fryer. Okay, we see it's already drawing 1,300 watts. How long will this last? It may kick out. I'm already 250 watts over. And this is at the maximum temperature of 400 degrees. If this works and doesn't die, you can see it ticking down already. 98%. If this works, oh, something just shut off. It didn't work. I was gonna say, if this worked, this is probably the best cooking device you could take with you camping or whatever, or overlanding or whatever. And the reason is because I've seen people make all kinds of crap in here. Muffins, cakes, chicken, steaks, on and on and on, and they all come out pretty damn good. And the secret is, it's got a heating element which looks like a regular stove and a high-speed fan. That's all it is. So that didn't work. Whoa, let's turn it down though. Let's turn it down to 350 degrees. My load is still at 1,200 watts, which makes no sense. Let's turn it down to 320. I'm at 1,248. I was really hoping this would work. Okay, so what this does, it's not drawing less power on the coil. What it's doing is turning on, off, and you can see it's only drawing 31 watts when the heating element is off. And then once it kicks in, the heating element, it'll jump up to 1,200 watts. And it's too bad, like I said, because if I could find an air fryer that ran under 1,000 watts, I would immediately use that as the primary cooking device for camping, because everything comes out perfect. Alright, so this thing is at 315 degrees and still, okay, there we go, 320. Jumps up to 1250. So the only way this could possibly work is if It turns off, lets that rest a little, turns on, turns off, turns on. It doesn't overload the inverter. Or another thing you could do, which would be a lot of money, is to replace it with a much more powerful lithium battery, or whatever you want to call it. There, people calling these cut off. Yep. So there goes that idea. I've not even tried that because I know it won't work. It's way up, yep, and it shuts off. Not damaged, but it's too bad. So my recommendation, I lost 2% just doing a 2-minute test there. So we're looking at a percent a minute. You drain this thing. Actually, theoretically, it would take an hour to drain it if it was all efficient like it's supposed to be. So now I want to see if I can find a lower wattage, a small air fryer that would be good for portable use and stuff like that. I really like this one. It's very simple to operate. It does a really good job, but it's just drawing too much power. The Jackery 1500 would probably handle it. We're looking at $1,600 or something like that. Ridiculous. The Yeti, again, we're up at $2,000, and then there's other brands, but I don't think it's worth it. I still think it's best to just stick with fossil fuels, petroleum-based, butane, propane, I don't care, camp stove, whatever you want, anything that works, because you get more BTUs for your buck. I mean, this thing is pretty expensive, but you can get a gas stove for $29, So that's it. Just want to do a quick testing video. This thing will run TVs, computers, lights, you name it. Anything, laptops, small microwave, maybe 700 watts would work. Coffee maker, if it's like under 1,000 watts. Induction cooktop, if you don't go above, I don't know, medium. But something like this is just raw, short. It's basically, that coil in there is just shorting out the thing, and you're drawing, I guess in this case, it's something like 1,800 watts or something. Or at least 1,500 watts. And it's too bad. Alright, well, that was the test, and I'll do some more tests if anybody wants to see any other devices or anything like that. If I have it, I'd be happy to test it for you. This is the Jackery 1000. Nothing wrong with it, it's just I'm exceeding the capacity. 96%? Really? I only ran it for 2 minutes.